Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome, my fellow Geminis. Today, we are going to do a reading where we are looking for that soulmate. Um, this reading is about soulmates who are going to come together in 2025. And I know some are going to be like, oh, that's so far away. It really isn't. Like, we're almost there. Um, so it can be meeting. Some of you may already know who this is. I would say just try to stay open to the process. And I'm going to ask our spirit guide 6 specific questions relating to our soulmate love. I'm just giving everything a quick shuffle as I speak. So I'm going to ask 6 questions right to our spirit guides. And they've been fantastic with answering the questions like immediately. So I'm excited to do this one. Um, this, by the way, is going to be for Gemini, Sun, Noon, Rising. Definitely those intuitively guided. I know more and more of you are. And, you're just trusting your intuition or your guides are putting it in front of you. When I'm asking, or I don't know if asking is the right word, but if I want to manifest something, um, I tell or if I have a question, like my boyfriend's been going through some health issues, and so I asked my guides and I asked God, I said, put the solution in front of me, like put it in front of me so I cannot deny it. Um, and I do this all the time, by the way. I did that with a football game. Many of you know my son is crossed over. And I said, give me a sign, Steve, if you're here right now. And all of a sudden, a football player backs into the picture, the camera, and his name was Wilson. Well, that's my son's last name. And not only that, but then this Wilson turned around and um, made a touchdown. So I'm just saying, trust your guides, and this is who I'm reading through. So what we're going to do, by the way, is we are going to let Mother Mary open the reading. I am going to use the major arcanas, but they're going to be part of the question. They're going to be part of the last question, so I'm going to move them over here. I'm going to use the psychic tarot to answer the question with the crystal vision and the gilded tarot. I'm calling them clarifiers, but let's just say to amp up, to give us certainty. So let's start with Mother Mary. And then as I'm shuffling, I'm just going to tell you real quick the questions. So, number 1, your soulmate's subconscious thoughts about you right now. So, soulmates are soul connected. That means that you've known each other in this lifetime. Well, I shouldn't say that. You may not have met yet in this lifetime, but you're still soul connected. And what I am looking for in this reading is not just any old, soulmates can come in just for a moment also. We have many soulmates. Some come in just to help put us back on track. Some come in to teach us difficult lessons. And by the way, sometimes we're the teacher. Sometimes we're the student. Um, but what I am looking for is that ultimate true love soulmate. I just want to make that clear. Okay. I was telling you the questions. So, your soulmate's subconscious thoughts about you. Number 2, we're just reversing that. Your subconscious or conscious thoughts on them. Number 3, 2025's potential of meeting. Number 4, I want to know if you've loved in this lifetime before, and or a past life. We'd be getting there's some nice answers with that. Let's just put it that way. Number 5, divine's energy that's supporting this union. Because again, soulmate connected. This could be sometimes predestined, like 2 soulmates, planted that seed before they even came to Earth, and just trusting in divine timing that we'll find each other in our time. And I feel like those soulmates, they know that there's other things they want to accomplish in this lifetime. Love, yes, so important, but also a love for what I do, a love of family. You know what I mean? Like souls want to learn, grow, have adventures in this lifetime, in every lifetime. So sometimes you meet later in life. I know I met mine. Well, we met as teenagers, but then we reconnected in our 50s. We're the same age, so. All right. Well, hello, Mother Mary. She's like, I got a few messages for Gemini. All right. Health. Health. My prayers for healing miracles have been heard and answered. How interesting. I was just talking about Sam and the issues that he's going through with his health. My prayers for healing miracles have been heard and answered. Look at this, marriage. Marriage. I make a commitment to a healthy relationship with God, myself, and my partner. This is about making that ultimate commitment. I don't always feel like it has to be marriage. But this is your person and they are and you are their person. And then last but not least, beautiful hope. This is like the star card. I trust that God has a wonderful solution and brilliant plans in store for me. I trust that God has a wonderful solution and brilliant plans in store for me. Amen to that. So, health, but that's about prayers being answered. Marriage, I feel like that's perfect for this type of reading. And then hope, keeping hope alive. It's interesting because I get a lot of people who say, I'm not going to find love or, what have you. But then I get a lot of people who say, like, out of the blue, I met this person and there was such a connection. They are not like my usual type. That's what a soulmate is like. So, and I have to tell you, some of the ones who have wrote like that they unexpectedly met someone are the same ones who did not think, or let's just say, like, I think more they were saying, like, I don't want love. But then love came in the door. Then love came in the door. So the reason why I'm saying that is, we have to think about the intentions that we're putting out into the universe, the energy. That is what must match us. If we're putting low vibrational energy out or saying like it's never going to happen or what have you, I'm not sure that would stop it. But I do feel like, does that not add an extra layer that really doesn't need to be there? So anyway, I feel like I'm preaching now. If you want love, that's probably why you're here. All right, so let's get to the questions. Number one, your soulmate's subconscious thoughts about you right now. Sacrifice. Sacrifice. Cardelia, by the way. Three swords. The Knight of Wands. I don't know why I'm picking this up, but I feel right off the bat that we're talking about a past life. And I feel like in this past life, something wasn't completed. Like, I do feel that you met each other. I do feel I feel this sacrifice is from a previous life. And I get this sense that I may have lost. By the way, when I say I'm just Gemini, which I am Gemini. But it feels like I lost my love. You know, whether my love, I kind of get a feeling like may had been in battle, killed in battle. Uh, but I do feel that. Now, what I also want to say is I feel this is coming back around through the Knight of Wands' energy. Number one, action oriented, passion, desire. Like you won't be able to deny the energy. So it's interesting. It's almost like this person already has this realization that there were past lives. And I often don't feel that. Like, I feel the ones who are watching are the ones who, let's just say, are more spiritual or believe in past lives. But I feel this person, like, I feel that they know that in their soul. It's almost like I didn't mean to leave you, baby. Like it's not what I didn't want this. I wanted to come back home. I wanted to be with you. I also want to say I feel like there may be a couple of you who may have been, if you were the female, pregnant. And I don't feel like that's everyone, but I do feel like there's a couple because I feel like then I had to raise that child for a while on my own. You know, as I do these readings, I feel like I need to do a past life reading, and I may do it after your reading. I keep saying that, but I might. All right. So now we're just reversing the question, and this is you on them. Look at that, the death card. Transformation. You know, I'm just going to say this. I know some people are like, "Oh, is this reading all about you?" Of course not. I've had people say that, but I feel like it's important that I say certain things. And what I'm noticing is this 12, which is the day my son was born. The 13th, it's the day I was born. I see his connection in our readings all the time. Now, the reason why I tell you this, first of all, yes, it does make me feel good, but it's more to let you know that your spiritual team is just as active. So, anyways, transformation. Wow, that makes sense, right? Death slash rebirth. Previous life, this life. Oh my gosh. Hello, lovers. So, first of all, this is your major arcana. And look at them embracing. Look at them. I mean, they're in love. The meaning of this card's ahead of a hard decision. But I feel like follow your soul's calling on this one. Follow your soul's calling. I even love how it went from the 3 to a 6. The pain, the heartache. Now, listen, some of you may have been feeling this in this lifetime. And what I mean by that is you may have had partners where you probably love them, but I just get this sense of like, but I never felt completely fulfilled. I know that feeling. Now I do. And now I do feel fulfilled, is what I'm saying. But so I feel like that's what some of you, like, I've been in love. I've had different levels of love. I even feel like some of you understand that, these different levels of love are really to help us grow. Sometimes it can be as simple as I now know what I don't want in love. But let me tell you, the chemistry is number one. We have the King of Cups, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. But this is it is right below Scorpio. But it is mirroring your major arcana. So now, with the signs aside, this is someone who, in the upright, really does love, but not any old love. And I feel like that was part of their growing, you know, going through different types of love and understanding now what true love means. So this is someone who I definitely feel is looking for that partner, right? That person, which is you. So it's like you're both going through this transformation, and there may be something happening right now in your life. Some changes, like let's say you're in a relationship that just is not going well. You may make that final decision to say enough is enough. Don't forget, we're in the universal year 9, and it is about that reflection. Like, how do I want my next 9 years to look? Well, I have an idea. So, whatever, because the death card means the door is closing, but I feel like this door has to close for this rebirth to take place. So, if you've been feeling resistance, ask yourself, is this really pushing me to end something? Is this trying to tell me something? Because I feel like it is. All right. 2025's potential of meeting. Well, hope. Mother Mary's message. Hope. It's like the stars are aligning. That's what I feel like. I feel like the stars are aligning for these soulmates. This is about one's hopes, dreams, and wishes, but this is about manifesting them. So, again, actively knowing what it is, what intentions you're putting out into the universe. Because you can just manifest them back. Even just hope for the future. All right, what's above it? Knight of Swords. But look at this knight. He's on a white horse. He's riding above all the darkness below him. White horse to me means truth, purity. This could be some type of communication coming in. And if so, and when I say communication coming in, for some of you, you just may meet this person and it is the conversation that ignites everything else. Oh my God. Hello, Knight of Cups. Unexpected cup of fulfillment. Here, love. This is probably why I was telling you about those messages. Because I don't know. I don't think you can plan love. I think we accidentally fall in love. And I feel like you're going to accidentally fall in love. I love that the hope, the star, is between these two knights. So this communication, well, it definitely speaks of love. This communication, where I felt like just the communication alone strikes the flame, well, that's exactly what someone's feeling in that Knight of Cups. So the question is the potential of you coming together in 2025. Well, hello. And what makes me even more certain? Because of the death card. Something's ending, which makes complete sense in a universal year 9, and a new door is opening. But that new door is the star. Um, I'm getting the number 8. The number 8. I don't know if 8 means something to someone, or you're going to meet like on the 8th of a month. It's not August, because we're already through August. But this 8, it's also the number of infinity. Maybe that's why it's coming to me. As above, so below, no beginning, no end. The rebirth about to take place in a very unexpected way. We may come back. I have some decks ready in case I want to like look a little deeper. I have the Cosmic Tarot, and I do have the Romance Angels out and ready. Wow, first of all, 3 nights. Passion, truthful communication, love. Let's keep going. Did we love here in this lifetime and a past lifetime? And I keep thinking I need to reword that. Um, I already know you loved in a past lifetime. I already know that. So let's change the question to have you loved or have you met this person in this lifetime? Because the past life, I know. Interesting. Deception and envy. 7 of Swords. The Queen of Pentacles. Okay. 6 of Cups. So you have. Well, let me clarify that because probably not everyone. Something else that I don't know why I just noticed this, but the 6 and the 7 is an 11, right? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. No, it's not. It's 13. Why was I saying that? Yet in my mind's eye, I saw the number 11. All right. So this is interesting. So I definitely feel some of you know who this person is. Doesn't mean that you were in a relationship. Could be a friend. It could just be like someone you meet, when you're like, let's say you're walking to work and they walk to work. You're walking different directions. And maybe accidentally you knock into each other and a conversation strikes up. And what else is interesting is, the 7 of Swords can be difficult energy. But then we have the 6 of Cups, which is really about treasured memories. I get this feeling. And look at the 2 sevens. I get this feeling that I do feel like this is the other person. It could be you, and it might be both of you. I feel like you have been, or they have been, what I want to say is growing up. Like going through, the years of partying, the years of being with people, but I feel like I've grown up and I'm not interested in the things that I used to be interested in. I also get the sense of, I don't know why I'm feeling this, but I feel this person is like, will they accept me? Will they accept me? It's almost like like you were friends way back in the day. And, you know, you both might have lived life wild and crazy for a while, but then you grew out of it and it took them longer. So I feel like I had no choice but, to live my life. Because I do get this sense of, first of all, I'm noticing the crystals by this queen. And I always call her my psychic detective. And it may be calling for you to use your psychic abilities as it relates to this. So I think we'll come back and look at that Seven of Swords. But that's what I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling more about, you know, like someone who has matured. And I just feel like the maturity levels were different. And, that's kind of common, and not always. Because now I'm thinking if I say this, I'm going to get some men mad at me. But I do feel like, let's just say, young men mature slower than young women. Now, I know that's not everyone, but I do feel that in this situation. And again, it doesn't have to mean we were lovers, but the energy it was just different. It wasn't the right time. It wasn't the right time. And when I say that, it doesn't mean like you weren't meant to meet them, but it might just not have been the right time for the forevermore. Like we had to sow our wild oats first. And that's part of life. That's part of the adventure. Some some make their way out of it and some a little slower. And again, I feel like that was the wrong word. I am noticing the lovers with the six and the Six of Cups. So again, this is about treasured memories, nostalgia. Some of you, this could be someone who lives back in your hometown, like where you grew up. That Three of Swords, I'm hoping it wasn't also in this lifetime. All right, well, let's keep going. So, divine's energy that's supporting this union. Well, hello, divine. Patience. That's probably why I said that this didn't feel like back then, didn't feel like the right time. Temperance, her first message is patience, right? But it's also trusting in divine timing. And, although trusting in divine timing can be hard, really what temperance wants you to do is let go of the things that you cannot control and hand them over to her. When I see temperance, unfortunately it's not in this deck. You normally see um you'll see her mixing the loving waters of two cups. And I feel it's making sure that both cups are equally filled, or same vibration, right? But both cups fulfilled first. And then that's the right time. Like, in a way, I could see temperance like protecting you a little bit. And what I mean by that is, and sometimes we listen and sometimes we don't. And Divine knows that. But I could see it's interesting we go from a 7 to a 14, like we just doubled that 7. But what I was going to say is I could see divine's protection here also, you know, because it probably would not have been the same then versus now. Okay, but how beautiful. We're looking at a divine energy is supporting this union, and then we get temperance. By the way, card of Sagittarius. We have the Seven of Wands. Hmm. The Ace of Swords. I feel like your spirit guides are speaking to you. You know, first of all, the Ace of Swords, I've always used that as my yes card. I'm going to slide these up a little bit. Um, but yeah, I've always used it as my yes card. And the Ace of Swords speaks of truthful communication. Number one, coming from your guides. I feel like this is a sense of being able to relax in this energy. You know, if we look at, okay, so let's look at this bottom line for a second. This Knight of Wands coming into the reading. That means it's bringing, and everything, all the knights are coming in, except for this knight, coming in. So this knight is responsible to bring passion, desire, right? To stir your feelings. Sometimes it's lighting that flame. And then this night is all about this unexpected cup of fulfillment. Some, it may be actual someone saying, I have feelings for you, or I think I love you. I think I love you. Anybody know which song or what show that is from? I think I love you. I can't think of the rest of the words. Um, Seven of Wands, standing your ground. I feel like I feel like divine is recognizing how you've had to stand your ground. I feel like divine is recognizing other people's fires that you put out. Like divine is recognizing your growth and theirs too, by the way. I don't feel like this is talking about you needing to stand your ground right now unless we go back here. But, standing your ground just doesn't fit. I feel like it's more divine recognizing your efforts within your life. And I feel this sense of like you knowing who you are. And let me tell you, that does take time. Also knowing what you want and what you don't want. But I also want you to keep an open mind because a soulmate, let's look at it this way. I know, like, okay, so in my personal readings, let's say, I get quite a few people who tend to date the same sign over and over again. It's like they're attracted to a certain sign, but it never works out. And I feel like this is part of what I have been learning. Like I can want what I want, but then I need to take a moment and ask myself, am I just repeating a pattern? Or is this, if you think about your own energy, number one, like if you're feeling, you don't have to feel strong, but let's just say you've learned as much as you could about love. And I'm sure there's still more to learn. But now I feel like you'll learn it together, where I feel like you learned it on your own, and they probably learned it on their own. I definitely feel like the going through different relationships and how some didn't, like, they could have started out great, but, they probably had a completion date because I feel like this was meant to be. So, whatever resistance you might be feeling, know that that resistance may be so that you close a door. It's a necessity so that the new door can open. But if you are really thinking about the year of the hermit, which is all about spiritual reflection, right? I'm seeking that light, then you will close that door. And the star is going to help you. It's almost like you can feel that energy. Okay. Let's bring in the major arcanas. I did not shuffle and cut them, so let's do that right now. And I am going to shuffle for these. So, these are the major arcanas that are connecting the two of you. We have the Strength card. Double Leo on the board, by the way. But this is about an inner journey. This is within ourselves, like our own battles. This is finding balance. And that's really what Temperance wants for the soulmates, balance, right? Each one balanced. So, each one probably had to like really look within. This is taming the beast within. It's also a number 8. And if you notice, she's got the infinity, that 8. There's that 8. But she has an infinity as her goggles. Again, as above, so below. No beginning, no end. The devil. The devil. Card of Capricorn. The devil can talk about temptations. It can also talk about illusions. Interesting is coming below the Strength card. I get the sense that at least one of the soulmates, if not both, let's just put it this way, they each had their own challenges, and they were their own. Some could have, I come back to the 7, I could definitely see where, like, I wanted to drink, I wanted to drink, I wanted to drink, but that didn't help me, and I'm not judging this person because I feel like to each their own, right? Like, I can't make someone, and I don't feel like you're meant to, by the way. And then look at this, the star. Gemini, put those intentions out there. Believe that it can come true. Be ready yourself. This is the 3rd time. Number 1 for Mother Mary, and then twice on the board. And it's right in the middle. This is the energy that's connecting you, your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. So when I say put those intentions out there, that is what's connecting you. Like divine is listening. Double Aquarius on the board also, should say that. And who knows, maybe Temperance was waiting until both have found that balance within, both have claimed those inner demons and have balanced them. You know, it's like the light and the dark within ourselves. And the dark can just be anything that tends to hold you back from your real potential. But this is the realization of that. And this feels like back then. So the star, especially with Mother Mary bringing you out first, that's what's connecting you. And look at the knights that are also connecting you. All right, let's look at the bottom of the decks. We have the Page of Pentacles. Page of Pentacles is all about a learning experience. This is what our soul knows. Like, I'm down here to learn, to grow, to experience, to have adventures, and not all of them in the light, right? I want to know what it feels like to live in the dark. But I feel like that's just for a time, right? But I want to know the dark, the light. I want to know it all. Partnerships and alliances. I love this image. I love how they're holding each other, right? It's not just a handshake, like, how do you do? It's a recognition. I even love the tattoo. Some of you that may ring a bell. Doesn't have to look like it. I think it's a barcode. Doesn't have to look like that. But I feel like it is a clue. And even if you're just meeting, I feel like just the way you're grasping each other, it's almost like I feel like it's going to be instant. It's going to be instant. You may not say it right away. So I do get the feeling that this other person, you know what it feels like? It feels like love at first sight. Now, this is really love at second or third or fourth, but in this lifetime, even if you know this person, because this person has changed, you know, this person has matured. And then we have, look at that, the Three of Pentacles. So, Three of Pentacles is all about your individuality. You know, this is where you're being celebrated for your individuality. And in a soulmate reading, I love the Three of Pentacles because it is about being who you are and being celebrated for that. I often feel this is like a secret admirer. Maybe just hasn't spoken that yet. Sitting right next to the Three of Swords, 33, 33. Look at that, both ways. You know, it's interesting because when I think of 33, like I think of a master number 33, and this doesn't have to be your life path number. It could be your personal year number. Um, but a master number 11, 22, 33, 44 has come down here to master. To master. And to master means I am going to go through the dark to reach that light. Now, we're born with amnesia. So even though our spirit knows that we can get through anything, right? We've been here, we've done this before. This is not our first lifetime. This is not our first love. And, you know, the more that we can go with the flow, I just feel like the better things will be. Like, I don't feel like I have to be actively looking, but I feel like putting those intentions out there, they're being heard. Even Mother Mary said they're being heard. All right. Um, I don't want to make this super long, but I do. I mean, I feel like I get it. And I love this Knight of Cups is moving right into the Six of Cups. If nothing else, this is a type of love that's going to truly make you feel like a kid again, like unencumbered, fun, laughter, joy. I'm not going to say that it's, fun and laughter and joy 100% of the time. But I do feel like once we make this ultimate commitment, no matter what arises, we have the power together to overcome it. And that may be why, like, each soul's lessons and adventures up until this point were so important. Sometimes we tend not to look at that. Okay, what did I do? Like, I don't want to look at the hard part. But what if the hard part is what taught you? Think of it this way. If everything was perfect all the time and the sun was always shining, and everything always went your way, and I'm sure that's happened for some. And you know who I feel like this happened for? Either someone's first incarnation on life or someone's last. Well, I shouldn't say that because honestly, I feel like when you have a master, especially at 33, I feel like you have an opportunity, if you so choose, not to reincarnate. You then become the teacher to the young souls. That's the way my spirit guides show it to me. Like when we leave this life, we have all these young souls. Well, first of all, we have our beautiful family, who is going to greet us. I know that. Um, but once we've had like our life review, this is after we've left this world. We go through this life review, and it is about really seeing everything about this lifetime. And it's the good, the bad, the ugly. But it's not judgment. It's so you can see it and understand it. And then I feel like, again, those with, I do feel like with master numbers, you will then be the teacher. So another way of looking at that is when I leave this lifetime and I have all these beautiful young souls running to me, you know, and it's so funny. I want to say Anastasia, like my name is Anastasia on the other side. Interesting. I've never gotten that before. So if there's not an Anastasia here, then I feel like that's my name. But anyway, so all these young souls come up and say, Anastasia, what's it like? What's it like on Earth? And I'm either going to say, well, fell in love, love sucks. You know, uh, I got stuck, and that's all I did. Or let me tell you about life. You're going to love. It's not always going to work out, but you're going to learn from that. You're going to have adventures. Like the world is your oyster. Remember that we will always be there with you, helping to guide you. And some, it is about like ultimately connecting with that soulmate in divine's timing. So it's like, don't take away the adventure and the lessons and all that of the past. Each one and everything was important. Even if it was free will, it's what made you who you are today. And you may say, I don't know that I'm 100% loving who I am today. But divine would say the opposite. Divine would remind you that you were born imperfect. So if you're shooting for perfection, that's why you can't find it. There's broken little pieces. All right. Anyway, I want to look at, even though I do feel like I understand it, but let's look at the Seven of Swords, Six of Swords. Interesting. So we go back a number, but yet really it's moving us ahead. That's interesting. We go back to move us ahead. So Six of Swords talks about what are you moving on from? Because that's what it means, moving on. So toxicity, bad communication. This could be something you were learning, or even learning how to accept or not accept, right? Like some of you may have like dealt with some very difficult people. And part of your soul's lesson was learning when enough is enough. And, when I think of a five, I do think of free will, but it's also change. And this is the change. All right. Um, I really don't feel like there's anything I need to clarify. So, what I was going to say before this card came out is I'm just going to ask for any other messages to now come out. So, we have the Four of Pentacles. Doesn't it look like she's at the doctor's office? Kind of feels like there's that health, and maybe this is just the perfect person to help. Like, gives you real answers. It has nothing to do with the card. I definitely feel this is also talking about the foundation. Like, we really have to consider the fact that if we begin anything and it's on a rocky foundation, well, the chances of a bad storm coming will just knock it off, right? But if we build it on a strong foundation, pretty much nothing can knock you off that foundation. So I feel like let's start there. Let's build that strong foundation together. Together. All right, let's take what's face up first. The Tower. Interesting how I was just talking about the foundation, and then we get the Tower. So I definitely feel like there were things in your past that were not built on a strong foundation. And again, this isn't judgment. This is just so you know that. Um, but I also feel that maybe they weren't meant to be, because I get the sense that you are slowly being guided forward. And then we have the Princess of Cups, and look what she's doing. She's accepting that cup. Literally, the Knight of Cups is right there. She's like, yes, I accept. Dun, 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 the Emperor. I kind of love that. Now, this is a card of Aries, and that's not why I love it, unless you love an Aries. But to me, the Emperor is someone that I can look up to. This is definitely someone who's mature. And I'm not talking age-wise. Of course, it could be age, but I mean, like, they have matured. They are um really concerned with helping their fellow man and woman. You know, the emperor is much like the empress, has gone through all the lessons of the kings until I reach this ultimate energy. This is someone who's wise. This is a seed planter, action oriented, passion filled. I could go on and on and on. But I feel like it's talking about the growth. Some of you, this could be someone who's a little older than you. Just saying that because she's next to a princess. It doesn't have to be the case. But I like that. I even love that the Emperor came out with the Seven of Swords right there. So that Seven of Swords, what was, is no more. Interesting how I said in the beginning that I felt like this person already feels that there was a past life soulmate. I don't know they know it's you yet, but I feel like the instant you connect, the instant your energy connects, something is going to tell you. Whether you believe it or not, something is going to make it clear. But then it's up to you whether you believe it or not. I think it'll be hard to deny, and I'm talking about past life. I have no doubt. I have no doubt. Okay. Let's go ahead and bring out the romance angels. And then we shall let this one be. Let's give them a cut. By the way, for anyone who's new, first of all, welcome. Welcome to everyone. I cut every deck in a reading because I want to introduce them to an ongoing reading, right? I want what's coming out to relate. And that's why I cut them. It's just my silly symbols, but it's my symbols to my guides. Let go of control issues. Allow this situation to unfold naturally. Let go of control issues. I even love this image because I feel like there's this man trying to woo this woman, but then there's this daughter. And this daughter is paying attention to everything this man is saying. Almost like, if you're going to love my mother, you better be worthy. Because I feel like the daughter is protecting the mother. So some of you may have children. And I don't feel that that's a hinder at all. Because I feel like they know that. Like of course, I'm going to accept your loved ones as my own. Free yourself. And it's interesting, it turned itself around in the deck. It's time to take back control of your life. Well, I know that's relating to the death card. I know some of you are feeling resistance, but at the same time, you know what else is interesting? I often feel like this is temperance because there's this fence around this unicorn. This unicorn is just being patient, right? But this unicorn could stand up and hop right over the fence. But he knows it's not divine's timing right now. Free yourself, and the rest will follow. Love yourself first. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. Your self-respect makes you more romantically attractive. It's interesting because free yourself. First of all, letting things flow naturally. free yourself. I know it's talking about the death card. And there may be a little bit of time where you are learning to love yourself again, right? Listen, I feel like this is saying that for some of you, there has been a lesson about, self-respect. But it's not the lack of your self-respect. Well, maybe some. But I feel like it's important. I just feel like it's important in love that respect be there. All right. Look at this. New love. A new person has stirred your romantic feelings. We're getting closer and closer to divine, to actually touching it. And then look at this. So everything Mother Mary sent us, we are now seeing the reading. And this is the last card. How beautiful. This situation involves marriage. Now, it doesn't have to be marriage, but it's true commitment. It's commitment for the rest of your lives. Some of you, yes, it's marriage. And even new love. By the way, love. Don't miss that word. Even this new love, we already know that you've loved before in a past life. But even if you know who this person is, again, because I do feel like for some of you, you knew this person back in the day, and I feel like the energies were just off. So they're coming back in as a new love. I can use Sam and I as an example. We were together as teenagers, and then we broke up. And then I went on and lived my life. He lived his life. And then 40 years later, he reaches out through the phone, through communication, and it opened up the door. It just opened up the door. Now we're together. Um, and why am I telling you this? Because we had to get to know each other again. We knew each other as teenagers, but not as adults. So that's why I'm saying that this new love, I feel a mix of both. But I love that it's ultimately bringing you to a true commitment, whether you decide to get married or not. You are dedicating your lives to each other. Gemini. What a beautiful, feels to me very clear reading. Again, some of you are feeling some resistance right now. Just ask yourself, is this asking me, like, is there a door that needs to close? Like, be truthful with yourself. Doesn't mean you have to close it. That's up to you. That's free will. But look what's waiting on the other side. Look what's waiting when that new door opens. But it is free will. So, I just love the progression of this also. And letting go of control, allowing it to flow naturally. It is flowing. It is flowing. I don't know, Gemini. I loved it. I loved it. Um, yes, the lovers is your major arcana, but let's just say that I feel at least by the end of 2025, you'll be in this embrace. You'll be in this embrace. Now, that is if, again, you allow. I don't feel any issues with them. That's interesting because I usually do, but I don't. It's like, and no wonder the Emperor came out because the Emperor has been on this spiritual journey. And I feel this person is spiritual. So that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to let that be. I loved your reading. I hoped you loved it. And, this is not to give people false hope because, of course, it can't be for everyone. And that's why you want to go into a reading really paying attention to your intuition. But part of me is feeling, not a part of me, a big part of me, that this is happening. And everything seems to stem from that door. Whether I close that door and allow that new door to open or I don't. Transformation, rebirth, divine. Your hopes, your dreams, your wishes are everywhere. And even the way this love's coming in, you know, through communication, almost like this. Like, hi, oh, look at this. Love begins. Love begins. Look at that, the Ace of Swords, which is right under divine here. But look at the roses climbing up the sword. This feels like past lives. Feels like the cards below, the top card, are of past lives. So let's look at this one. The Nine of Wands. Reflection over my life and who I have become. Nine of Wands is about every wand behind this person is a challenge that they've overcome, an adventure that they've had. This is about being proud of who you are today. I call this person my spirit warrior. And then even underneath that, Four of Cups, discontentment and boredom within one's emotional life. That's probably why I was feeling for some of you, it's like you've been in love, but you haven't felt completely fulfilled. Here comes this cup. And we know it's coming from divine. We have divine right here. So, I'm glad I looked at them. All right, now I'm going to let it be. I thank you guys. I love you guys. I hope you loved your reading. I'd love to hear your comments on it. All of them, good, bad, and ugly. Like, I can handle it. I can handle it. I feel like of all the readings I've done in this format for soulmates, yours seems to take the cake right now. So, I couldn't be happier. Okay, I love you. I thank you. We will see you next time at our table. Bye-bye.